as you get older,
Yep.
you have to look at things in a different way.
I'm gonna keep the motherfucking hands up. I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Step out. Can I move my phone?
Like all kind of strip clubs in Omaha. We don't know. This is musty. This is disgusting at the highest level.
Floyd Mayweather first words on Terence Crawford got arrested by police. Floyd Mayweather has taken another harsh swipe at Terence Crawford following his recent traffic run-in, and he didn't hold back. Commenting on Crawford's wild celebration after defeating Canelo Alvarez, Mayweather mocked the way the Omaha star carried himself, suggesting that if beating Canelo makes him act like he runs boxing, then how over the top would he be if he had beaten greater opponents like Manny Pacquiao? Floyd insisted that every fighter should recognize his limits, and pointed out that while he himself defeated Canelo years ago without issue, Crawford's reaction only proved to him that the champion is still not operating on his level.
Another point, Floyd Mayweather, he don't carry no guns. Floyd don't carry guns.
Mayweather's criticism didn't stop inside the ring. He also took aim at Crawford's personal troubles, highlighting the fighter's recent clash with Omaha police. Floyd called the situation both embarrassing and unfortunate, adding that rather than making headlines for the wrong reasons, Crawford should be spending time with his family, celebrating his victory, and appreciating the historic place he's earned in boxing.
Comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd, and I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that fight.
Yes, sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess man. Yeah, his IQ and that shit.
The headlines Floyd mentioned began unfolding early this morning in downtown Omaha, just hours after the city held a massive parade celebrating Crawford's victory over Canelo. Fresh off the biggest win of his career, Crawford was the star of the day's festivities, but the mood shifted dramatically by nightfall. According to the Omaha Police Department, around 1:30 a.m., officers spotted a vehicle driving recklessly near North 12th Street and Capitol Avenue before pulling it over on Cass Street. Inside were 4 occupants, including Crawford himself, along with his head of security, Qasim Shabazz.
Step out.
Can I move my phone?
Floyd Crawford being harassed by cops and pulled over by the cops right after the parade. This is diabolical.
Later that day, police released a statement outlining their account of the incident. According to them, while speaking with the driver, an officer spotted a loaded gun on the driver's side floorboard, prompting authorities to order all 4 occupants out of the vehicle at gunpoint for safety. Once identifications were checked, the driver was confirmed to be Terence Crawford, who received a citation for reckless driving. The statement also clarified the issue of firearms, noting that one of the passengers, identified as part of Crawford's security team, was carrying a licensed weapon, and emphasized that all 4 individuals in the car were legally allowed to possess firearms.
Once they had stopped, Crawford was identified as the driver. According to police, officers observed a firearm on the floorboard on the driver's side. All 4 people, including members of Crawford's security team, were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. I spoke with the head of Crawford's security this afternoon, who says he's still shaken up.
Only hours after fans cheered him at the victory parade, the same champion was seen in handcuffs on Cass Street, leaving many stunned. Some supporters expressed disappointment, saying what should have been a proud weekend for Omaha was overshadowed by the late-night incident. Others placed the blame squarely on Crawford, accusing him of reckless driving and questionable judgment. Local outlet KV reported that, according to an officer on the scene, the firearm was first noticed when Crawford bent down to retrieve his documents, including his license and registration.
Bro, I got a crazy clip to show you guys right now. But isn't that a policeman holding a gun to the 3-time undisputed world champ Terence Bud Crawford's head? What did he do that was so bad that you had to pull him over?
The officer stated that as Crawford leaned forward, a firearm became visible near his feet, which immediately prompted the decision to remove all passengers at gunpoint. According to the report, everyone in the car was handcuffed until the situation was resolved. During the tense moments of the stop, Crawford repeatedly made it clear that he was not reaching for the weapon, raising his hands and emphasizing that he was fully cooperating with the officers.
That was a nightmare. You know, future husband,
just had a brand new child and, you know, children and, you know, and stuff like that. And to know that I almost lost my life last night because we had a police officer that don't know how to articulate a traffic stop.
That claim was later challenged by Crawford's head of security, Qasim Shabazz, who offered a very different version of what happened. Shabazz insisted that Crawford never reached for any documents, since he didn't even have them with him, explaining that Crawford had already informed the officer his license and registration were left at home. According to Shabazz, both he and Crawford made it clear from the start that they were legally carrying firearms as required under Nebraska law. Still, the stop quickly escalated. Shabazz recalled Crawford telling the officer, "I have a firearm, too," which he says sent the cop into a frenzy, shouting commands like, "Hands up. Get out. Don't reach," even though no gun was ever touched. "We honestly thought we were going to die," Shabazz admitted.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my...
You telling me the police at Omaha don't know who Terence Crawford is? Putting a gun in his face? Ridiculous.
Shabazz also pushed back against the reckless driving charge, saying Crawford directly asked the officer whether radar had been used to clock his speed. According to Shabazz, the officer admitted it hadn't. Crawford then challenged him, asking, "Well, how do you know I was speeding if you don't have radar?" Shabazz claimed he captured the entire exchange on video, including the
in Omaha after receiving the keys to the city? Huh? Hey, yo, that cop gotta be some hater, bro. Hey, yo, that's like the NYPD holding Derek Jeter on gunpoint and arresting him after the Yankee championship parade in New York City, bro. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't even happen, bro. It wouldn't even happen. So this cop gotta be some hater, bro.
Shabazz also pushed back against the reckless driving charge, saying Crawford directly asked the officer whether radar had been used to clock his speed. According to Shabazz, the officer admitted it hadn't. Crawford then challenged him, asking, "Well, how do you know I was speeding if you don't have radar?" Shabazz claimed he captured the entire exchange on video, including the officer admitting on camera, I don't have radar."
I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with.
The conflicting accounts between police and Shabazz have only intensified the debate, with Crawford's camp citing Shabazz's version as proof the stop was mishandled, while others argue that reckless driving can still be judged without radar. Shabazz described the moments inside the car as tense and frightening, noting that all 4 passengers were placed in handcuffs despite their attempts to cooperate and disclose their firearms up front. He said the escalation felt unnecessary, but added that after Crawford requested higher authority, a police supervisor and lieutenant arrived on the scene, helping oversee the remainder of the stop until the citation was issued.
But they come up with guns drawn.
Wow, he had his gun drawn. Here's what TMZ wrote. Terence Crawford ordered out of the car by a cop holding a gun on a video. It says Terence Crawford was forced out of a car at gunpoint by police officers with tense exchange caught on video, and it's leading to an internal investigation.
By the time the video had spread online, the public was already divided. Some argued police had overreacted, while others felt Crawford had put himself in a risky position. For many, the incident cast a shadow over what was supposed to be a historic day for Omaha, while others echoed Mayweather's remarks that a champion of Crawford's stature shouldn't be caught up in such controversy. The Omaha Police Department quickly addressed the growing attention, with Chief Todd Schmaderer launching an internal affairs investigation to review the officer's actions. Mayor John Ewing backed the move, confirming both he and the chief were aware of the viral footage. The review is set to determine whether proper procedures were followed once the firearm was seen and when the decision was made to remove the passengers at gunpoint.
Investigation, but the damage is already done, my guy. The damage is already done. I'll be surprised if Terence Bud Crawford comes back to the city just disrespectful to the face of boxing. Not saying that the man's above the law, but Lord child, what was y'all doing? Gunpoint?
For now, the only charge Crawford faces is reckless driving, with police confirming multiple times that all firearms in the vehicle were legal and no further charges would follow. The sharp contrast between Omaha's daytime celebration and the late-night traffic stop has become the lasting image of the weekend. Residents who had cheered their champion in the parade hours earlier were now reading headlines about him being pulled from his car at gunpoint. Social media quickly lit up with disbelief. Some fans called it the wildest 24 hours ever for a hometown hero, while others accused police of unfairly targeting Crawford, and critics countered that he should have avoided being on the road that late at night.
Mayweather, I thought, took on some pretty tough 154-pounders and it was in a young Canelo and a very tough Cotto who was punching very hard from 4 to 54. You know, remember Cotto had knocked out Delvin Rodriguez at 54. He'd still done some damage at 54, and I thought
won
he
a title at 60.
Yeah, and I thought he knocked out Martinez at 60, and I thought he gave Mayweather a pretty good fight at 54.
Mayweather has stirred even more controversy by using the stop to draw a line between his career and Crawford's. Floyd argued that true legacy isn't just about victories in the ring, but also about the decisions a fighter makes when the world is watching. From his perspective, Crawford tarnished his own moment of glory by landing in handcuffs on the very night Omaha celebrated him as a hero.
I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Crawford's camp has stayed quiet aside from a brief statement, with his spokeswoman confirming Sunday evening that he would not be commenting. Since then, neither he nor his team has addressed the citation, the police reports, or Shabazz's version of events. Meanwhile, the internal affairs review remains ongoing, and the reckless driving citation still stands. Yet even as tensions between Floyd and Crawford escalate, the wider boxing community has jumped in with strong reactions of its own. With names this big, it's no surprise that legends, analysts, and promoters are all weighing in on the situation from every angle.
But all of them kept saying, oh, them, keep boxing, keep boxing.
Oscar de la Hoya, never one to stay silent when Mayweather's name comes up, made his stance crystal clear. He scoffed at the idea that Crawford's victory over Canelo puts him in the same conversation as Floyd, saying the comparison simply doesn't add up. Oscar pointed out that Mayweather faced Canelo when he was younger, fresher, and considered a far bigger threat, yet Floyd made him look like a novice. Crawford, on the other hand, had to grind through 12 tough rounds to get the win. That's why, in Oscar's view, the gap between them isn't even close. Mayweather was already a proven king long before Canelo ever shared the ring with him.
That's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah,
but like his core personality and his ways.
Max Kellerman approached the debate from a different angle, as usual refusing to let the conversation be reduced to a simple comparison. He emphasized that greatness can't be measured by just one shared opponent, explaining that Mayweather's legacy was built on a level of defensive mastery that shut fighters down before the real action even began, forcing them into frustration long before the final bell.
Floyd Money Mayweather. Why is that the option? Well, for a few reasons. One, because Floyd doesn't like anybody being called the best while he's still living. So that's number one. Number two, they have been compared to each other since the fight, because Canelo Alvarez says, well, you know, I think he's better than Floyd. So now they're starting to get
Crawford's greatness, Kellerman argued, lies in his ability to switch styles seamlessly mid-fight, adapt to any situation, and systematically dismantle opponents in ways rarely seen. His perspective wasn't about choosing sides but about appreciating two very different paths to dominance. He described it as two unique peaks of greatness that arrived back-to-back, each defining an era in its own way.
It's a torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence, fan square, and he passed the torch. So, you're going to have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. You know, he fought Terence and nobody else would.
Analysts also point to the difference in marketability, Floyd's charisma ability to play both hero and villain.
Then came Bernard Hopkins, who didn't bother softening his words. He acknowledged Crawford's skill, admitting he's as sharp as anyone in the game right now, but pointed to a challenge Crawford has never truly faced: Mayweather's psychological warfare. Hopkins explained that fighting Floyd wasn't only about trading punches, it was about surviving against someone who made you question yourself every single round. He even suggested that part of Crawford's joy might stem from never having dealt with an opponent capable of stripping away all his weapons. To Hopkins, that's the line that separates the good from the great, and the great from the legendary.
Could've, but you know, why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather, on the other hand, defended Floyd by stressing the context often overlooked in these comparisons by the time Floyd fought. Canelo, he was already past his physical peak.
Mike Tyson, already gearing up for his own clash with Mayweather, weighed in by saying this kind of drama is exactly what boxing thrives on: fans buzzing non-stop, media spinning endless speculation, and the sport feeling larger than life. He even teased the idea of possibilities down the road, pointing out that with Floyd still active in exhibitions, nothing is off the table. If Floyd's already in the gym, Tyson said, why not start thinking about Crawford?
Go off of that, you know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but, you know.
For Tyson, the focus wasn't on records or risks but on delivering the kind of spectacle that makes the entire world pause to watch. And that's the bigger picture here. This debate has grown far beyond Crawford and Mayweather trading jabs in the media. It's become a movement of its own, with promoters buzzing, networks eyeing opportunities, and fans dividing into camps as the possibility of these two giants actually sharing the ring continues to capture everyone's imagination.
You know, fights, later down the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork.
Eddie Hearn, meanwhile, has been quick to throw cold water on the hype, arguing that Crawford's resume still falls short of Mayweather's and warning fans not to rush into crowning him. Yet even with Hearn's skepticism, a louder buzz is spreading across boxing, that Crawford is finally free to face anyone he chooses, with no promotional chains tying him down, while Mayweather continues to move on his own terms. It's the kind of setup that makes even the wildest possibilities seem real, including talk of a blockbuster showdown between Floyd and Crawford.
Mac, you've been training Crawford for years. Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
He just got to take a break.
Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man, B-man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
And the intrigue may only grow from here. While Mike Tyson's exhibition with Mayweather is already a massive attraction, ongoing reports about Tyson's health keep raising questions. If anything were to derail that matchup, the rumor mill already has its next storyline lined up. Why not slide Crawford in as the replacement?
Ever entertain a fight with the Benavidez?
You gotta understand.
I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't,
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. His brother was big when I fought him. The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, but he's not a big...
Stepping in for Tyson would instantly shift the card from exhibition spectacle to a true super fight, and it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Still, another potential matchup is already gaining traction for next year. Turki Alalshik recently sparked buzz by floating the idea of a massive showdown between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. The rumor has spread quickly among fans, especially with Turki hinting it could headline a Riyadh season event. Coming off his victory over Canelo Alvarez, Crawford facing Benavidez would be another high-stakes clash, bringing two elite names together on the Grand Saudi stage.
I'll say this. The crazy part is that he can do better. Bud can do better.
He may be strong, but he's not the kind of opponent Crawford is looking for, and trainer Brian "Bomac" McIntyre wasted no time making that clear. When pressed about the rumored Benavidez fight, Bomac's response was blunt: "No, we ain't doing that fight." He didn't elaborate much, but his message was unmistakable. Crawford's path isn't about jumping at every name mentioned, it's about choosing the right opportunities and staying locked in on the career-defining moments that truly matter.